welcome back. This is your last module for the day. So do you feel overwhelmed? No? Okay. Give us a big hand. Alright. So I have a question for you. If coaches don't provide answers, what value does your coachee get from you then? So discuss among yourself. So when you coach someone, you don't provide answers, right? So what value do they get? Why do they want to talk to you at all? Good? Okay, discuss. 1 minute. Why? What do they get from you? So for those who have just joined us, the question to think about is, if you as a coach don't provide any answers to your coachee, what value do the coachee get from you? Why do they want to talk to you at all? Discuss and share. Okay, so who wants to share? What are your thoughts?
Is that to get coachee to self-reflect and also let them, I remember Mr. Ngan always start with the conversation of, how do you rate your problem? How do you scale your problem from 1 to 10? And then with the end of the section, right, usually as in we as a coacher, we have to know how effective is that conversation to help them.
Right.
Instead of entering into the coaching session, asking a question, and end up, they might not know what is the takeaway.
All right. So you have worked with a coach before, right? You don't get any answers, right?
Yeah.
So what do you get?
I discover a different perspective, knowing, see things from perspective, you will discover the answer.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else wants to add? Yes.
I would like to share similar encounter.
Yes.
I have worked with a clean coach before, and she turned me off because she keep asking me questions, and I get no answers out of it, and I feel very annoyed. And then until I go through my coaching with Mr. Ngan, I feel the differences are because Mr. Ngan is in the industry, we work for the company, he relates to me better and know how to ask the right question. So I think that's the differences that I see that's bringing value to me. But before that, with the team coach, I see. Okay. So that was also another question that I want to bring. How do we then get people to like coaching? Because some people find it time wasting.
Yes.
They're trying to go around and I can't get my answer.
Yes. All right. So you got your value. The clean coach and Mr. Ngan as a coach both ask you questions.
Yeah.
The only difference is that one asks more relevant question and the other one asks questions maybe
Very broad.
very broad. Yeah, got it. Anyone else wants to add? What are you taking as a coachee? Let's say if you work with a coach with no answers.
into coaching, right?
Yes.
You will be confused lah.
Yes.
What is going through?
Yeah.
Where is it leading to?
Yeah, where is this leading?
Yes.
Yeah. But after a few sessions, right, then I think,
Oh,
because right, I had the privilege to, go through coaching session with Dengan.
Yeah.
So it's like after a few sessions, maybe I discover lah.
Yes.
Second and third time, it's very structured. The things that he asks, the second, third time, you see where is it heading to, then you'll be like, okay, this is how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be, no answer,
Right.
but trigger your thoughts lah.
Right.
Yeah, but the first time around, if no brief was given, I think it can be a bit confusing. So I also agree with what Sui said. I also think that coaching is not for everybody. Like the coach, to be a coach and the coachee is not for everyone. If they are, no matter how much you coach, how many times you coach a person, and if they are not open guy, then it's not for everyone.
Correct. So do you think that your coachees might feel the same way, that they feel disoriented at first, and then later on they will see the point? So how do you speed up the process? How do you speed up the process that your coachee from day one working with you know why you're asking questions?
Set expectation. Tell them there's no answer from me. You don't expect any answer from me. I mean, set the expectation.
Manage the expectations.
Huh?
Manage the expectations.
Okay, manage it. How would you manage the expectation?
Yes, explain from the very beginning the outcome of this.
Okay, and let's say you explain to me I'm your coachee. I don't know, boss.
I don't know.
He said.
Yeah, you go practice.
Anyone wants to help them?
Hey, friend.
Want to give it a try?
I think we can maybe let us remember in the very beginning you were saying that you wanted to do this. Do you think that throughout the session you are clear with what will you be looking? Is it to what you are looking for? Maybe just give them a broad statement that this session giving you a good direction, not direction, giving you a perspective, a different way of looking at things, something like that.
I'm confused, boss. Just joking. All right. So the process is what we call is do an alignment process. Alignment means to say they understand why you are doing what you're doing. All right. So you can either do it with your team and say, team, one of the things you'll notice different moving forward for us is that if you were to come to me with a question or a challenge that you want to resolve, you will notice that I will be asking you a bit more questions, right? And the reason behind that is that I believe that people who is actually facing the problem tends to have better solution because you are closer to the issue, all right? So you will have me asking you questions to draw out your perspective, your thoughts, your ideas first, okay? And then later on, if I have additional ideas, I may share those ideas with you. Is that okay? So they understand why you are asking them questions if you do that. Okay, otherwise they will feel that why is my boss asking me so many questions? Right? So when you do that, then they will be more ready to share their thoughts with you. Yeah. Now, why is it that coaches don't provide answers? Yeah.
I think the coach wants the coachee to have the commitment that they want to solve the problems themselves.
Very nice. So one of the reasons is that the commitment level is higher if it comes from them. Another reason why coaches don't provide answers. Okay.
I
Okay, so in other words, if you follow the process of coaching, the self-discovery impact is higher. Great. Another reason?
Like, teaching how to fish rather than eat fish.
Alright, so if you don't provide answers, what happens?
You get them to be more independent and think of themselves.
Yes.
Rather than you giving them the fish.
Yes. So, how do we learn? We learn by connecting the dots. Yeah? When you experience something, and then that something is new to you, you begin to relate what you are learning with all the things you already know. Okay? So when we learn things from people and we don't have the reflective process, we don't get a chance to connect the dots. That makes sense for us. So coaching is a process to help people connect the dots so that it makes sense for them. The answer is not important. It is a process of arriving at the answer that is more important. Does it make sense? And there's another reason why we don't provide answers.
You limit the potential.
Huh?
You limited the potential. Maybe the way how he handled is better than what we thought or what we could maybe could you have a better solution? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So another reason why we don't provide answers is, let's say I'm your coachee, and let's say this circle represents everything I know about my problem. How I feel about my problem, my biases, the way I view my problem, and everything that I know about my problem, represented by this circle. Now, when I come to you and I share my problem with you, I share it really in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right? In that 10 or 15 minutes, I use language to share with you. How many % of the language can accurately describe what I feel about the situation? How many %? Using language. It's not 100%, right? Language has limitation, right? Let's say 50%, for argument's sake. So let's say if I can, my command of language is so strong that I can actually use accurate words to describe how I feel. But still, I may not be able to express a lot of other feeling things that, that I experience. Now, if I can actually express all this, okay, are there times in which you feel that you want to filter off some information I don't want to share with my boss? Some information I think it's so embarrassing, that I want to just keep it to myself. You will filter out things, right? Sensitive personal things you want to share, but you share what is safe. Of this that you can share, how many % do you think people filter off? Another 50. Let's say for argument's sake, another 50%. I will choose to share with you only this much. This one, I will keep to myself. Alright? So, whatever I share with you, let's do a very simple exercise. Take a blank piece of paper, and I want you to draw an aircraft. Draw an aircraft. Alright, if you have completed your aircraft, just share it with the colleagues around you and show your aircraft to them. So, what have you noticed as you compare your aircraft?
Different.
Same but different.
So you notice that it's slightly different, right?
Very different.
Yes. You get a general idea of the aircraft, what I say, right? However, how you interpret me is very different based on your own perspective. Yeah. So if I were to have my aircraft and I show you mine, how many of you will get exactly my aircraft? Very low, right? Yeah. So what can you learn from here, from this exercise? Yes. What I say and how you understand is very different. Okay? So if I were to tell you my problem, you may understand roughly the context of my problem, but you will interpret it in your own way. So if you interpret it in your own way, how many percent accurate is what I try to explain? So if I try to explain to you this amount, how many percent you accurately interpret me?
Another 50.
Yes. Another 50. Alright? So my problem is here. So far what you understand from me is here. Okay, I need so much information. And then you feel that, okay, I understand what the challenge is, and you give me an idea. You share with me an idea. So if you share with me an idea, how many percent of the time I interpret your idea or your suggestion or your solution accurately? 50%. Another smaller amount, alright? So, and we are focusing on here based on all those factors and constraints. Where is the real solution?
Beyond the biggest one.
Here, somewhere here you don't know. Alright? The real solution lies here. So if you give me suggestions and ideas, you will be focusing on this small area. So that is why we say that to help people, they know themselves, they know their situation better than anyone else, and that's why we coach them. Their solution is always much better than ours. Make sense?
Yeah.
If you don't provide solutions, what do you provide then? Questions and what form would your guidance be? Alright. I mean, you all have value, right? Your value is in lies with your experience. Alright? So don't hold back your experience. Alright? Towards the end, if you have more ideas, share your ideas. But don't share it from the perspective of a solution. What's the difference? Ideas, solution, what's the difference? Very good. So solution is I guarantee you do this, you get that. Right? Ideas is you do this, you may or may not get that. Okay? So it is useful to provide and expand your options, your choices by giving them ideas, but not definitively that you must do this. Alright? So that's how we are coming from. Okay? Remember. Any questions so far? Alright, now we do the most important thing. How do you ask questions? Once we learn that. Okay, the first thing that I want to do is take an A4 paper and cut into a quarter size. Cut a quarter size. Share that small piece of paper among yourself. Each one just take a small little piece of paper. So one of you can just cut the A4 and share that. Okay. And take a small piece of tape like this and take it on your small piece of paper. Each one will really have one of this. Yeah, stick it on the paper. Okay, everyone has one? Alright, everyone stand up. Find a partner from another table. Find a partner from another table. Oh. Does everyone have a partner? Yes. Who don't have a partner? Okay. Now stick that piece of paper on your partner's back. Okay. You need a pen or a pencil. And in this game, you're going to think of a famous name. Alright? That can be a name of a real person, dead or alive, doesn't matter. Or a character. Character is like Batman, Superman, all those are characters. Alright? Think of a famous name. Chances are your partner will know when you write that on your partner's back. Famous enough. It can be sportsman, sportswoman, artist, politician, poets. Whoever that's famous, right? Singer. Without a hint. So think of that famous name and write it on your partner's back now.
It describes the person.
No need to describe
Whatever. 真的是啊。One only.
How many you want?
Just one. Huh? Just one. Just one.
Make sure 我会走。
Make sure you pay the animals.
什么 ？OK OK。真的是想的，我想不认识 famous 人的。
Alright, everyone has a name here. Okay.
You should write the other one.
So this is how you play the game. You and your partner, one of you will guess first, right? And to guess, you ask questions. You ask your partner questions. So your partner will answer your question because your partner knows what's written on your back. There are only two questions you cannot ask. You cannot ask, what did you write my bank? Or you cannot ask how you spell it. Alright? Any other questions you can ask? No limit. You can ask as many questions until you get the answer. Alright? Once you roughly know, is it this name? If it's correct, then reverse role. Yeah, your partner guess now ask you question. Alright, one by one. One person do first.
Okay.
Alright.
I ask first.
Is he a singer or actor? Is he a superhero? Is he a sportsman?
Single or
Working in a Chicago.
Is it a
Is this someone
You are serious.
What is his occupation?
How many of you got your names?
Yeah.
You give us a big hand. Okay. Share with me some questions you ask. Example of questions you ask.
What is the character famous for?
Alright. Some more?
Color.
Yeah, age group from.
Where's it from?
Yeah, age group.
Okay, some more?
What color?
Industry, what color, what grade. Now,
Big or small?
okay, now if I were to put some constraints to this game, alright, you can only ask 3 questions. So let's do it. I have written a name that I want you to guess. And as a group, you have 3 questions, 3 different questions. So you have to think carefully what are the 3 different questions you want me to answer. And from there, you have to make a guess. Alright? So let's brainstorm the first question. Everyone can just chip in and throw in your ideas of questions that you want answered, and then you choose that question and I will answer your question. So what will be your first question? Brainstorm. Okay. Did you hear that? What is this name famous for? Yeah. What other questions do you can ask?
Can you is that background check? Can you describe what is that person?
Tell me more.
Okay, tell us more about this name or a character. Another possible question? What is his name famous for? Any other questions?
It's short.
Which industry? Okay. 1 or 2 more?
What's their most recent meet?
Okay. Most recently.
Most recent.
Okay. 1 more?
Tell me more about him or her.
Okay. So you have so many options. Which one would you like me to answer as your first question?
Tell me more.
Tell me more.
So excited.
All right. Tell me more. I'll agree.
Yeah.
Huh?
Me 3, yeah?
So this name is famous in martial arts. This name has 3 distinct colors, and the colors are black, white, and orange. Color. This name is large in size. It's probably, I'm guessing, maybe 8 to 10 feet in size. Yeah. This name looks very fierce, but has a very kind heart.
Large.
This name is famous in the entertainment industry. Okay, that's it. Any answers? Let's look at your second question. Second question?
Oh, second question is second question.
Explore second question.
What was the question?
What is it famous for?
Okay, second question, which country some more?
What species?
Species, okay.
I think yeah, you got it.
Second question, brainstorm.
There's still got 3 questions after asking second
Yeah, what is it for tigers?
poison, which is a large martial arts. Black. No, orange. Black, white, and orange.
Second question.
Ask the second question.
Second question.
Is he or she an actor or a singer?
Okay, actor or singer?
What field of entertainment?
Entertainment 好 broad 你知冇 ？Entertainment 好 broad 個。
They said it's the Kung Fu Panda punya tiger.
Panda, bear.
Maybe not human
Garfield.
Ask which movie? Which is the latest movie, ma?
Okay, that's closer to what.
Yes.
That's the movie already, we don't know what else is. Which one?
That you
Question.
Yeah.
It's a movie. Entertainment martial art.
My movie 就兩個 answer 咗，佢係唱歌嘅。
martial art 好少唱過啦。
You get another answer already.
I think it's which movie lah. Okay. We'll go with that.
All agree?
Most recent appearance. Most recent appearance.
Yeah.
That means it can be movie or concert or entertainment.
Agree? Agree. Most recent appearance.
Yeah.
Okay, most recent appearance is in Kung Fu Panda 4. You have one more question to guess.
What was the name
What's
of that?
We answer already.
You want to guess already?
Yes.
What's your guess?
Tigress.
Give us a big hand. Alright. So if you reflect back at the way you ask questions in the first round when you played with colleagues and the second round when you played with me, any difference you notice in terms of asking questions? More focus, in what way is it more focused?
Cover as much breadth, broad and depth of the answer you're going to get.
And how do you do that?
By trying to find a way to ask a question that will get the most amount of explanation out.
Okay, and what kind of questions do you call that? Open-ended questions, right? In the first round, did you find yourself asking more close-ended questions?
Yeah.
Is it male or female?
Yeah.
Is it male or female? Why is it that we ask close-ended questions naturally?
Because there's perception, the initial perception.
Yes.
Make sure the question comes to mind.
Right. And another partial reason is because you want to solve the problem. Yeah. So if you want to solve the problem, you will want to ask questions in such a way as to remove things that's not relevant. And hence you ask close-ended question. So the first rule when you're coaching is that don't solve the problem. Alright? Whenever your coaching brings in a challenge for you, don't try to solve the problem. That's not the rule. you want to ask question in a way that will maximize information out. So begin with a what or a how when you ask a question. So we call that the structure of your question. So when you ask your question, the structure is ask more open-ended question. And you begin with either a what or a how. You can still ask close-ended question. 20%, not too many. Things like is it, can we, and so on. Now, when you ask questions, how many percent of the questions that you ask is meant for you to understand the situation? Why do you ask questions in the first place? To find out, right? So, in other words, for a coach to understand, that is to find out, for the coach to find out. How many percent? 50%, not so high. Alright. Ask questions for the coachee to reflect or think. So when you ask a question for the coachee, your intention is not like a doctor for you to find out what's happening with the coachee. You can ask a few questions to understand the context, alright? But not too many. Ask more for the coachee to think and reflect. Example. What are some questions that you can actually ask for the coachee to think? Give me some examples of questions for the coachee to think.
How do you feel?
How do you feel? Yeah, that's a relevant question. Another question?
What's the outcome that you want and you're looking for?
Fantastic. Another question? Alright. What are some questions that it's for you to know?
On a scale 1 to 10. How would you rate this situation?
Alright. the Mr. Gan's favorite. Now, let's ponder on that question. If your coach asks you on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? Is it meant for the coach to know, or is it for the coachee to think? It can be both, right? So, what is the right intention when the coach is asking that question?
How serious?
Yeah,
Huh?
serious.
Okay, so always ask from the perspective of for the coachee to think, or to evaluate themselves. The answers that's given to you will be some answers for the coach to understand, but never start with the perspective like a doctor who asks you questions because the doctor wants to know. right? The coach actually don't need to know. Who needs to know? The coachee needs to know and reflect. So always ask from that perspective 80% of the time. Now delivery, what happens when you ask question after question and then coachee answer and then you ask next question and then the coachee answer, you ask the third question and the coachee answer, you ask the fourth question. What happens to the conversation when the conversation goes Q&A? Huh? It becomes mundane. It becomes boring. Alright? It becomes frustrating. It's like you're always withdrawing from ATM. After that, nothing comes out. So, how do you deliver in such a way that it becomes conversational and not just Q&A? What do you do? Very good. Some more?
Summarize.
Good. Some more? Reflect. Yeah. Very give a big hand. Awesome. He might not remember, but he knows he has to resolve. And that process is called bridging. Right? So, bridge first before questions. Alright, so these are the tips we want to remember when we ask questions. Okay, so now you're going to practice these tips on me. I'm going to be a coachee, and you're going to coach me. I'm going to wear two hats. I'm going to wear the hat of a coachee answering a question, and also sometimes I may take my hat off and wear a facilitator's hat to guide you to ask better questions. Alright? Okay, so let me think of a situation. Alright, so do you want me to play the role of pretend to be a staff or bring in a real situation that I'm experiencing in life?
Situation.
Okay, you don't want me to pretend to be a staff. More relevant in the situation. So you do Alright. Okay, so I'm not sure if I tell you this. I have an uninvited guest up in my roof. Yeah, the civet cat, the Musa. So for a couple of months, we heard sound up in the roof. We thought it was maybe some cat up there, but actually one day we found a baby Musa cat dropped on the floor. So we discovered it's a family of civet cats. And then my wife says that we need to find a way to remove the cat from the roof. Whereas my two children feel pity for the cat and would like the cat to stay on. So, so I'm torn in between. My children, son and daughter wants it to stay, my wife wants it to go. So I need some coaching to help me solve this problem.
Can I compliment people?
Alright, I see a hand there. Anyone can just jump in, yeah?
I just want to know how do you scale your problem? How is that bothering you?
The famous Mr. Guns question. So phrase the question again.
Yeah. How would you scale your problem from 1 to 10?
Where 1 represents what?
Okay, 1 represents like not really. 10 is the really affecting your life.
Okay, so that's a question, right?
Yeah.
1 to 10 rated. before you ask me a question, bridge first. So how would you bridge?
Bridge. I sympathy you. I sympathy your situation where the noises in the room are bothering your daily life, and you are not at the junction of making decision whether to get rid of the silver cat or not. Yeah.
And then ask.
And then, may I know how this situation affecting your life? How badly is this situation affecting your life? With a scale of 1, not so, and a scale of 10, it's really affecting. How do you scale it?
Good question, good bridge. I would say around about, it has actually increased over time. Alright, so now I would say that it's maybe about 7, in a sense that I begin to see the impact of their existence. My roof have, my ceiling have spots, which is their urine and their poop. Alright, so my wife very clean person, so she's bothered by all these stains. So she has recently asked me to do something fast. Yeah.
Suddenly I can relate that. Suddenly I can relate that, yeah.
Jamin, anyone else?
Have you explored any other options with regards to either keeping them or giving them away?
Okay, so have you explored any options? Open a closed question.
What are the options?
You're answer.
What are the options that you have explored? Either give them away or
Yes. I have explored convincing my wife to keep them. I have explored trapping them and moving them somewhere else. I have explored trying to understand their habitat so that I can actually find ways to move them out into their habitat. Yeah, so these are the 3 things that I've done.
What are you mentioned about your daughters wanting to keep them. Have you discussed with them on what are the commitments that they're willing to take, or what are their thoughts about helping you to solve this problem?
Alright, good bridge, and then you started with a close-ended question, and then you changed it. Very good. Awareness. So what was the question? What?
Have you discussed it with your daughters about whether to keep or not to keep? So what is their thought on this matter?
Okay. Have you discussed this with your children? Open or close them? How do you open it? The question is good. This is the structure. Begin with a what or a how. Yeah, okay.
How do you feedback of your wife and children on their different thoughts?
That's one way of putting it. What discussions have you had so far with your children? Alright. As long as you begin with a what or a how, you're on the right track. In fact, I would probably say that you can design all questions with just a what. Any question at all you can design with just a what emoji.
So after the what or how questions, can I say that can you consider, use the word, can you consider waiting a little while until you finish the product and see if
You're giving
Solution.
you're giving solution.
Yeah.
But you want me to think about that instead of saying, can you consider until the babies grow up? You can ask me, so what are your thoughts about letting them stay until the baby?
But isn't it still a
Still giving answer.
solution at the back?
Yeah, it's just an area you invite me to think about. Alright? What do you think about allowing them to stay? So you're actually pulling out my thoughts about my reactions. Instead of saying, can you allow them? It's like I'm gently pushing the solution to you. Yeah. Okay. Now, is there a difference between asking the question, have you discussed with the children versus what discussions have you had? Is there a difference in that?
Yes.
It's a short answer.
Yeah. More open, it comes from that. So, yes, I have definitely discussed with my children, and they are convincing me, and they are also themselves trying to convince their mom to live and let the silver cat stay.
What the progress that I made so far?
Short and sweet, right? Nice. Now, I'm going to pause you here, yeah? There's one question you have not asked me yet, which is very important.
The outcome.
How do you
The
feel about
outcome that you want.
Ah, give us a big hand. Awesome. Yes. Never assume.
Yeah.
What do you think is the outcome I want? Make a guess.
Both.
Your wife and the children.
The problem will disappear.
What is the outcome that so far you think I want? Make
I
a-
will assume that you want to get it because you said that the problem is up to step 7 already.
Yeah.
Up to step level 7.
Alright, so one possibility I want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Alright? Is a question of just how. Alright? Another possible outcome?
Happy family.
Yeah.
Was that?
Happy ending. Happy family.
I'll stay together.
Happy family. All come to a same conclusion, agree to the same conclusion.
Okay, how to find a middle path and compromise? Is that what you think my outcome is?
Yeah.
Alright? Another possible outcome?
You want to keep them, but at the same time, you want to make sure they don't sleep. You pee and poo.
You want me to train them?
Coach
Coach them. Alright? So notice that with the same problem, there could be many outcomes that I want.
Yeah.
Alright? What is the real outcome I want?
You want to know whether
What
it's
is
the right
the real
thing.
outcome you want?
Make your wife happy.
Resolve the differences.
Huh?
Resolve the differences between your wife and others.
Resolve the differences. Yeah.
It's easy to
So if you were to ask me an outcome question, anyone? Ask me an outcome question, let me next.
What is the outcome that you
Yeah.
have? Expectations.
Yeah.
What is ideal?
So the ideal outcome for me would be that I see my wife's point of view. I also see my children's point of view. But I'm not sure where I am leaning towards. So if I have clarity in that, alright, then I think the decision could be a little bit easier. Because right now I'm indifferent. Whether it stays or whether it goes, I'm okay. So I'm pulled by both sides. So with some coaching, if I can get more clarity on what's important for me, then I think I can design the way forward. Now, do you see the outcome?
Yes.
It has changed your conversation if you ask me that outcome earlier. If you don't ask me that outcome, then you could be leading me to make one of those two decisions. But, so what is my outcome? Clarity on what?
Keep or not to keep.
My stand.
Yeah.
I want to understand my own stand. What is my stand? Right? So your coaching will be very targeted on getting me to understand my stand. Yes. Okay, continue.
What do you think is important for you and for your family?
Very good. So you notice straight away the question becomes very targeted. What's important for me? Right? It's not about what my children think, it's not about what my wife thinks. Okay, so you're now exploring my thoughts. What's important for me? Actually, I'm torn because part of me feels I'm pretty compassionate with animals. Right? That's why I have all these animals. But at the same time, my wife's feelings is also equally important. Yeah. So, so I'm weighing between these two. All right. My heart says let the animals stay, but my heart also says how my wife feels is important. So that's why I'm stuck.
Yeah, so stuck.
Is there a given time for a pause during the coach? Before you get silent.
It seems that there are two questions here.
Yes.
Because one part of it is you don't know what you want.
Yes.
The other part is how to convince your wife if they want to keep.
Yes.
Let's settle the first part first. What
Yes.
exactly do you want?
Yes. You're absolutely right. If I want to keep the animals, then I'll convince my wife
Correct. You don't
strongly.
even know this one yet.
Yes.
So you should find out this one first.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And that's a good bridge, right? You're reflecting back what you're noticing. There are two parts to it.
Yeah.
Very good. So when you share with me that two parts, I'll say that, yeah, the first part that needs to be answered first.
So what do you want?
Yes, and that's a very powerful question. So what do you want? All right. Actually, I don't know. So if someone replies, I don't know, how do you respond to that?
Then what would make you feel happier?
What would make you feel happy?
Oh, did I question? Then you know what you can make you feel happy. Yeah.
Actually, I know lah. I know I'm inclined more towards keeping them.
So then we have clarity there.
Yeah. So between these two, I'm inclined a little bit more to keeping them. The only thing is that they're making noises. They jump up there. They're getting stains already, and then they have already 2 babies, and they're actually very cute.
Until they become
Yeah.
white babies.
Yeah.
What other conversations have you had with your wife?
Okay, so one tip for you is that always observe the coachee. If the coachee is still thinking, what do you do? Am I still thinking?
Yeah.
I'm still thinking.
Yeah.
So you must always observe your coachee and see it's still in deep thought. If it's in deep thought, what do you do?
Pause.
Wait. Yeah. Sit back and relax.
Next time.
No wonder.
Yes. As disrupt my thoughts. Right? So very, very important is not only listen, but observe. That's part of listening. We'll talk about it tomorrow. And sometimes you can be as quiet as maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes.
Wow.
In the body language, until the coachee looks at you, that means the thought is complete. Alright? May not share anything, but he may have something there or some doubt. Alright? He's waiting for you to react. But if he's looking everywhere, looking down, he's actually thinking, give space. Your question is not as important as the space you provide for the person to think.
Just an ideal purpose of asking questions is to make them think. When they're thinking about answering questions, cannot think.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
So you finish thinking.
Anything faster? I got another meeting coming up. Okay, you sit down here and think.
And see you back.
I'll see you back here. I thought you'd sit around. But anyway, give us a big hand. Alright, this is just to practice asking. Actually, no, not yet. I will have to think. But my inclination is maybe I'll discuss with my 2 children to see how we can pacify and convince my wife. Maybe a time frame. Maybe a time frame to say, okay, the silver cat is still small, maybe another 6 months. And then we know that they leave the roof at about 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, comes back around about the same time, you know, and we know exactly the hole that which they're climbing through. So when they are bigger, maybe we'll find a way to seal the hole, and also I need to check with the wildlife department for Militan how to trap and how to.
They might have been.
I
I think they might have been.
That's a good idea, huh? There's so much space.
Yes, and
so on.
nature.
I think they might have been looking for a warm place to give birth. They
Yes.
might eventually just leave.
Yes. So yeah, I need to convince myself that wherever I move that family to,
You haven't been feeding them, right?
no.
They will eventually leave.
But there are a lot of food in our area.
I know they will leave. So if they leave, they can't go back. They'll find another place. Push it to your neighbor now.
Alright, give us a big hand. Awesome. Alright. Questions about this? Tomorrow we'll do this. Yeah. Are we good? Alright, to wrap up the day, write down 3 things that you found useful, what you learned today, and then share it with your colleagues in your table. What are 3 points you want to remember to be a more effective coach? Yeah, your 3 points could be different from your colleagues' 3 points, but reflect on your 3. Alright, would you share that with your colleagues, your 3 points?
So I didn't know. Second is from the second is I have to ask very questions to use judgment. Open up. I just need to get my let's say picture.
Patient we are
Second one is it's not and the third thing that is solution to because we have solution
naturally which that's but I don't seek for the solution. Actually they use then second one is the one is verification to build trust.
Right, the list somewhere.
It's so easy.
But you. It's so easy. And I do want conscious part. That's natural one. Anyway, that's my
other and say, you're a great coach,